Hello, everyone. Have you ever felt that you are interacting with a person with whom you are providing, to whom you are providing all the support you can, and when you need the support, and when you reach out to this person, and the response which you get from this person is that, "What do you expect from me? What can I do? Or what am I able to do for you?" You feel a complete lack of empathy at that situation, and this is our topic for today. This is the lack of empathy among narcissists. In this video, we're going to touch on different aspects of this topic. First of all, we're going to talk about the definition of empathy, then the lack of empathy among the narcissist, how narcissists use empathy as a tool, what is the difference between cognitive and emotional empathy, what is the consequence of the lack of empathy among the narcissists on the people who live around the narcissist, and can the big question that whether narcissists can learn empathy. So let's just dive into the definition of empathy. So now let's talk about what is empathy. Empathy is the desire to understand another person's feeling and experiences. It's not just about feeling for someone. It often includes taking some supportive action, like comforting, helping, or standing by them when they need you. Crucially, you don't need to have to go through the same experience as yourself. The genuine willingness to understand others' emotion is enough to express empathy, which means that it doesn't necessarily means that you have lived through the same experience. For instance, even if you don't have children, you can still understand some of the pains of the parents, and this is what connects us as human beings to other human beings, and this is what keeps the compassion and humanity and empathy, and this keeps the relationships alive, which means that this empathy for others around us keeps the relationships. It's just a thread which connects the relationship and keeps the relationships alive. But narcissists lack empathy. They can understand, but they don't care. They know that they don't care, and they don't care about it. They willingly decide not to care about it. So let's go a bit deeper into into the narcissist and the lack of empathy among the narcissist. So how does the narcissist's lack of empathy manifests? For example, narcissist, you have been supporting the narcissist for the whole of your life. You have been supporting them through giving them emotional support, through financial support, giving them time, giving them money if they need, whenever they need. But when you need help, then they don't have anything of that for you, because they just switch that off, and they say that they will either just stop the conversation real at that point, or they will may say upfront that they cannot support you without any explanation, without any accountability, and without any sense of responsibility. And they will not care at all about you, how that attitude will affect you. This situation becomes quite complex and complicated when we are talking about narcissistic parents. Narcissist parents ignore their children's, the only time when they will give attention to their children, when they have some expectations from their children for the future or for the short term. Otherwise, they will completely ignore the needs of their children. This neglect breeds insecurity and feeling of being unseen among the children, and the emotional wounds that last a lifetime among these children. Such people, whether they're children of narcissists, or whether other people who are living around the narcissist, or they're connected to narcissists through some relationship, in work or in another way, it leaves a very confusing mark on the minds of the victim of the narcissist. Because you're not you I mean, this approach is very much destabilizing, especially for the children, when or any other victim of the narcissist, when the victim is always supportive, but when the victim needs help, then the narcissist is not there for them. One important aspect of this topic is that narcissists sometimes can use empathy as a tool, and as you'll be surprised to learn, you may have you may be legitimate in asking this question that I just said, that narcissists do not have empathy. Then how can they use empathy as a tool? And this is very interesting aspect of it. It becomes when the situation is that narcissist needs something. At that point, narcissist can feign empathy. They can explain, they can show that they care for you. If they need your money, if they need your attention, if there's something they need from you, then they will go beyond empathy. So if I have to explain the whole of this empathy, in on a spectrum, on one hand there is a lack of empathy, and then on in the middle somewhere, on the one hand there is lack of empathy, and there is another extreme which I'm going to come to in a bit. But in the middle there is a point where there is healthy, authentic empathy. So when narcissist needs your help, what he or she will do is that they will go to an other extreme, which is known as love bombing. Now your question will be that what is love bombing? Love bombing is that situation where a narcissist is showing extra love for you, overwhelming love for you, one of its kind attention to you, and that person is giving one of its kind attention to you. Mostly the love bombing occurs in the beginning of the relationships, but sometimes it can occur in between the relationships as well, when the narcissist needs something very important from you. Then they will show, and not only show empathy, but they will go beyond that, and they will show you love bombing, and they will do exactly, they will not only do exactly what you want them to be done, but they will go one step further from that, which means that they will become your they will become someone which you want them to be. And that is just a way to manipulate you to do the things which they want you to do. So this brings us to the conclusion that for narcissist, empathy is something which they can on and off. They can show empathy, they have the ability to show empathy, and they can convert that empathy into love bombing. But if you are not important for them, if you do not fulfill their purpose, then you don't exist for them, and they will show you a complete lack of it. So this brings us to another important subtopic, or another area of discussion under the topic of narcissistic lack of empathy, which is the two types of empathy actually. One is cognitive empathy, and second is emotional empathy. Now, talking about cognitive empathy, narcissists often display empathy only at an intellectual level. For example, they will say, yes, I understand how you feel, but there is no genuine emotion behind it. The words are empty and mechanical. This lack of true emotional empathy is visible. I mean, how would emotional empathy manifest, right? It is going to be, it's something very genuine. For example, a genuine touch. So there are a few characteristics which I will define for it. For example, it should be genuine. And how would you explain genuine? Is that it's not to the extreme of love bombing, but but it's not completely absent as well. That's one aspect of the. And second is not, it is not transactional. The third one is that it's not temporary. It's for the long term, right? That is a way how I would define an authentic empathy. But narcissists lacked, and true empathy is, as I said, that narcissist lacks it, and therefore narcissists can imitate behaviors that mimic empathy, but emotions behind them are, because they're faking it, they're hollow, and those close to them, because even if they love mom, and then they at some point in time they're going to leave you, and then, or they're going to not leave you. Maybe they by leave at this, in this context, I don't mean that they will physically disconnect with you, but they are not going to be supportive for you, and their behavior will remain erratic. And those who stay with them for the long term, they will eventually realize that their empathy is not authentic, and there is an layer of artificiality to their empathy. So how now we're going to talk about how the people who live with the narcissist are get affected by this lack of empathy. It substantially affects the close relationships of narcissists. Without empathy, the foundation of close relationships crumbles. Partners feel neglected and unsafe, which over time leads to emotional exhaustion and despair. This effect is substantial if it is on children. Imagine children of narcissists. How do they feel? Children of narcissist parents carry the scars of this deficit throughout their life. They grew up feeling inadequate and often repeat unhealthy relationship patterns, and this is very, very concerning for the parents. These emotional wounds shape their identity for their lifetime. Sometimes I often say that this is very much soul draining experience for the victim of the narcissist. The absence of empathy is soul draining. Victims become doubting their worth, and in their search for emotional closeness, often end up feeling completely broken. Now, at the end of the whole of this talk, I'm going to come to an important question: that can we said that okay, narcissists lack empathy. Can they learn empathy? That is the question. Now, empathy is largely an innate human capacity. Cheating it to narcissists is almost impossible. They may develop cognitive empathy, understanding emotions, which means that they will understand the emotions intellectually, but not they will not develop emotional empathy, which is an authentic empathy of a healthy human being, which comes from heart. Now, there is an important implication for the victims of narcissist from all of this is that instead of trying to change the narcissist, the healthiest strategy for victims is to accept reality, lower their expectations, and seek emotional support elsewhere. So, in conclusion of this talk, is that lack of empathy is the most fundamental and dangerous hallmark of narcissism. It hollows out relationships, emotionally crippled children's uh, emotionally cripples the children of narcissists and shatters partners from within. Remember, you cannot change a narcissist, but you can protect yourself. With this, we end up this topic. I will see you in the next video.